A groundbreaking expedition in the Atlantic Ocean near the site of the Titanic's wreckage unveils the most ambitious underwater scanning project in history. Over a century after the infamous disaster, a specialized team of scientists, mariners, and engineers embarks on a mission to capture an unprecedented full-scale digital twin of the Titanic. With two unmanned submersibles, Romeo and Juliet, equipped with high-resolution cameras and laser scanners, the team meticulously maps the entire wreck site in astonishing detail, revealing features long obscured by darkness, depth, and pressure. The resulting 3D digital twin provides a virtual model of the Titanic's remains, allowing researchers to study the site in ways previously unimaginable. This replica includes everything from the massive hull structures to personal artifacts like wine bottles, dolls, and garments, highlighting both the technological marvel of the ship and the human tragedy it represents. For experts like maritime investigator Parks Stevenson and metallurgist Dr. Jennifer Hooper, the twin opens a window into long-standing mysteries about the ship's final moments, construction flaws, and the exact damage caused by the iceberg collision. The Titanic, celebrated as the most luxurious and advanced ocean liner of its era, set sail from Southampton on April 10, 1912, bound for New York. On board were passengers from all walks of life, wealthy elites, immigrants, and working-class families drawn together on a voyage that symbolized both opportunity and excess. But just 4 days into its maiden voyage, on a clear and starlit night, disaster struck. After ignoring multiple warnings about icebergs, the ship collided with one just before midnight on April 14. Despite what seemed a minor impact, the Titanic began to sink, and in less than 3 hours over 1,500 people lost their lives. Historical records and survivor testimonies indicated that Titanic's supposed unsinkable design failed catastrophically due to damage to more than 4 of its watertight compartments beyond what it was engineered to withstand. Naval architect Edward Wilding concluded that about 12 square feet of punctures doomed the ship, but this theory could never be visually confirmed until now. The digital scan reveals for the first time visible iceberg damage, including a smashed first-class porthole where ice had intruded. Artifacts and sections previously inaccessible are now explored virtually, such as the starboard propeller hull numbers and the ship's torn stern. While the bow, the supposed point of impact, is buried beneath 20 feet of ocean sediment, the twin model offers a clearer picture of how forcefully the ship hit the seabed, demonstrating the immense violence of the sinking. The team also revisits Titanic's birthplace at Harland and Wolff Shipyard in Belfast. Their archival blueprints show how its watertight compartments were designed to withstand breaches in up to 4 sections. But the iceberg's long gash across several compartments caused a domino effect, pulling the bow downward and breaking the ship apart. The digital twin provides visual confirmation of this theory by allowing researchers to examine both the visible damage and infer what lies hidden under the ocean floor. Ultimately, this digital resurrection of the Titanic transforms our understanding of the tragedy. It combines technological innovation with historical investigation, offering not only answers to lingering questions about how and why the ship sank, but also a more profound emotional connection to those who perished. The Titanic is no longer just a tale of hubris and loss. Through this remarkable virtual reconstruction, it becomes a living archive, an enduring witness to one of history's most devastating maritime disasters. The documentary follows a groundbreaking expedition to digitally reconstruct the wreck of the Titanic with unprecedented accuracy. Using unmanned submersibles, Romeo and Juliet, researchers scan every inch of the wreck deep in the Atlantic Ocean. This massive operation creates the largest underwater 3D mapping project in history, resulting in a digital twin of Titanic, a fully detailed virtual replica of the ship resting on the ocean floor. Led by Titanic expert Parks Stevenson, the team includes maritime professionals, historians, and engineers who study the digital twin to unravel long-standing mysteries. The scan captures intimate and eerie details like wine bottles, a doll's head, and personal belongings, underlining that Titanic is not only a marvel of engineering but also a graveyard. The documentary revisits the tragic maiden voyage of the unsinkable Titanic, which set sail from Southampton in April 1912 with over 200 passengers and crew. 4 days into the journey, Titanic struck an iceberg. Though the damage appeared minimal, it ultimately doomed the ship. For decades, much of the sinking remained speculative due to the inaccessibility of the submerged wreck. Now, with full visualization of the wreckage and simulation technology, the investigation offers new insights. Naval architects at University College London, including Professor Jem Key-Paik, Dr. Stephen Payne, and Dr. Simon Benson, simulate the iceberg collision using original blueprints and estimated speed. Their findings confirm the predictions of Edward Wilding, Titanic's original designer. Though the damage appears minor, small punctures rather than a massive tear, it spread across 6 watertight compartments. Titanic was only designed to stay afloat if 4 flooded. Ironically, it was the ship's evasive maneuver that caused the glancing blow, leading to a longer gash. A head-on collision, as simulations show, might have damaged only 2 compartments and allowed Titanic to remain afloat. Meanwhile, the investigation highlights the ship's engineering team led by Chief Engineer Joseph Bell. In the chaos after the collision, Bell and his men remained in the bowels of the ship to maintain power for lights and wireless signals. This act allowed distress messages to be sent and passengers to navigate to lifeboats. A critical piece of physical evidence, a steam valve found open on the wreck, confirms their effort to redirect steam to emergency dynamos even as water engulfed the ship. Above deck, the atmosphere turns desperate. Titanic lacked enough lifeboats for all aboard, and the evacuation was chaotic. Some boats launched only half full. Stories of heroism and sacrifice emerge, including those of Ida Strauss, who refused to leave her husband, and Rhoda Abbott, who stayed behind with her sons. Conversely, White Star Line chairman Bruce Ismay survived but was scorned for abandoning ship. First Officer William Murdoch's actions during the final moments are re-examined. Historically maligned for allegedly committing suicide, new evidence from the digital twin shows his davit, the boat lowering mechanism, was upright, indicating he was preparing to launch one final lifeboat as the water rose. This supports eyewitness Second Officer Lightollers' account that Murdoch was swept overboard while trying to save lives. Ultimately, the documentary transforms how Titanic is understood. The digital twin provides clarity where there was once only darkness. From structural analysis to emotional stories of crew and passengers, it bridges a gap between past tragedy and present technology. The meticulous reconstruction allows experts to walk through history, offering a new and respectful look at the Titanic's final hours and the courage of those who faced them. A groundbreaking investigation that uses cutting-edge technology to reconstruct the Titanic disaster in unprecedented detail. At University College London, a team of international experts, including naval architect Professor Jem Key Paik, Dr. Simon Benson, and Dr. Stephen Payne, designer of the Queen Mary II, worked together to digitally recreate the Titanic's collision with the iceberg using information from original blueprints and engineering simulations. The simulation reveals the collision lasted mere seconds and resulted in surprisingly small hull breaches spanning multiple compartments, but individually no larger than a few square feet. These narrow gashes, not one large tear, were enough to doom the ship because they exceeded the design limit of 4 floodable compartments. Ironically, the simulation supports the theory that had the Titanic struck the iceberg head-on, it would have likely remained afloat. But turning to avoid the iceberg, a natural instinct made the damage fatal. As the ship begins to flood, attention shifts to the engineers below deck. Chief Engineer Joseph Bell and his men worked desperately in Boiler Room Number 2 to maintain power for lights, pumps, and wireless signals, giving passengers a chance to escape. The simulation identifies a key piece of evidence, a manually opened steam valve that kept power flowing to emergency dynamos. This confirms survivor accounts that Titanic's lights remained on for over 2 hours, highlighting the engineers' heroism. None of them survived. Above-deck scenes of chaos unfold as lifeboats are launched. With only enough for half the passengers, the crew must make agonizing decisions. Some, like Bruce Ismay, survive but face criticism for abandoning ship. Others, like Ida Strauss and Rhoda Abbott, refuse to leave loved ones behind. First Officer Murdoch, long accused of cowardice, is vindicated by evidence from the digital twin showing he was preparing a final lifeboat moments before being swept overboard, supporting Second Officer Lightollers' testimony that Murdoch died heroically. As the final hour approaches, wireless operators Jack Phillips and Harold Bride send distress signals until Captain Smith relieves them. Phillips continues sending messages until moments before the ship goes under. The documentary presents haunting survivor accounts of the breakup, long thought to be a smooth descent but now confirmed to be violent and catastrophic. Analysis of the debris field reveals the ship did not simply snap in two, it fractured with explosive force, destroying over 130 feet of the hull and the people within it. Among those lost were prominent figures like Benjamin Guggenheim and J.J. Astor, whose luxurious first-class suites were located at the break's epicenter. The digital twin shows that their deaths were likely anything but peaceful. Below them, the wreck's condition confirms Boiler Room Number 2 was still operational at the time of the break, its imploded equipment attesting to the engineers' last efforts. Even in death, class distinctions persisted. Items recovered from the seabed, suitcases, jewelry, personal effects, reveal the final moments of passengers from all walks of life. A shark's tooth charm and pocket watch connect to Colonel John Weir, a businessman with a hidden second family. A pair of children's shoes and a doll's head are silent reminders of lives cut short. The documentary closes by emphasizing the Titanic's legacy. While the wreck is slowly dissolving due to deep-sea bacteria, the creation of the digital twin preserves its story indefinitely. The virtual model allows historians and scientists to explore the tragedy with a clarity never before possible. Through this lens, the documentary transforms our understanding of not only how the Titanic sank but how the people on board responded with courage, sacrifice, and humanity. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.